The NFL draft is tomorrow in Green Bay, and our friend and CBS Sports draft analyst Ryan Wilson dropped his latest mock. Cam Ward taken number 1. Not a whole lot of surprise there. We've got Travis Hunter coming in at number 2, Abdul Carter at 3, Ashton Jeanty at 6. So who are the next big things in college football with all of this talent on the way out? So for that, we welcome in our director of scouting, Andrew Ivins. Andrew was on the forefront of a lot of this great talent coming into college football, and I know you've been scouting them for many, many years. So we're going to ask you who is next in college football. So the first one is inspired by Cam Ward. Who is the transfer quarterback who could make a significant impact on his new team? And I'm going to add this, not named John Mateer. We've talked about him enough. Who else you got?
Hey, I'm buying stock in Miller Moss at Louisville, and I'm going to make a bold prediction here. I think we're going to get to the month of October, and I think Miller Moss is going to lead the FBS in passing yards. And why? Jeff Brom, he's kind of an offensive guru. He's got 3 quarterbacks right now in the NFL, Mike White, Jack Plummer, Aiden O'Connell. There's going to be a 4th when Tyler Shuck comes off the board this weekend in the NFL draft. And I think Moss kind of fits his system. He can throw it around the yard, and yes, you go back to last year, Miller Moss at USC, there were certainly some low points. I can't get that interception against Michigan where he stared right out Will Johnson out of my head. But at the same time, there were plenty of highs. And I think this situation sets up perfectly for him at Louisville. You look at the start of the schedule, it's really easy. Eastern Kentucky, James Madison, Bowling Green, at Pittsburgh, Virginia. That's the first month. Really, the big test will be that October 17th date against Miami. So I like Miller Moss. I think he makes Louisville a contender in the ACC. They've retooled that defense, and he's got 2 really talented spark plug running backs next to him in Isaac Brown and Duke Watson.
I love that pick, Drew. That was one that we were talking about. I was going back and forth. Who could be this guy? Cam Ward. A lot of expectations, right? So I don't know if there's going to be a guy that's going to have that type of impact, but I'm going to go Fernando Mendoza, Indiana. This was a guy that I studied out of Cal. We put a 4th-round grade on, and the more and more you watch him, the more you like him, and a lot more athletic than you thought. The numbers don't wow you. 16 touchdowns, 6 INTs, average almost 275 yards a game. But I like this kid, just the way that he's kind of built, the poise as well in the pocket. He can move a little bit better than I think a lot of people think. This was a guy that you think about everything that Cal has lost. This would have been a really, really good team. So now you look at Indiana. They sneak up on everybody last year. They go to the college football playoffs. Can they do it again? I think this is going to be the guy that's going to have Indiana in the conversation in the Big Ten again after a year. Like I said, where Kurt Cignetti and the crew was just kind of like, where did these guys come from? Fernando Mendoza is going to be a guy that's going to make Indiana competitive, not a one-hit wonder. Will they go to the CFP? Time will tell. But I like these guys to be a thorn in everybody's side in the Big Ten for years to come.
Hey, Coop, I'm going off script right here, but he would certainly fit that Cam Ward billing. Fernando Mendoza out of Miami, I at one point had a 2-star grade on him. He was headed to Yale. That all changed. He finished as a 3-star prospect for us. So glad we made that move at the buzzer.
See, this is why we bring him in, because you have been scouting these guys for many, many years. This next question is going to sound kind of contradictory, but Travis Hunter, as we all know, is a one-of-a-kind prospect. So I'm going to ask you for the second one-of-a-kind prospect, who is maybe a unique type player that we should pay attention to this fall.
I'm going to go with my man, Koi Pond. If you know, you know. If you don't know, that is Koi Parrish, the all Big Ten freshman safety there at Minnesota. And you see it, right? He's got this practice jersey that's split down the middle, half maroon, half white. It looks kind of like a house-divided license plate. He did it all on defense as a true freshman for the Gophers, but PJ Fleck has indicated that Koi Parrish is going to play some offense this fall, and I'm not surprised. Go back to his recruitment. This was my number 5 freak in the class of 2024. He was a dynamic 3-sport athlete, had all the track and field markers, scored over 1,000 points on the hardwood, but he was a 3-phase impact player at Elko High School in Minnesota, a town of less than 1,000 people, and we saw him get it done in the return game. Sounds like Minnesota, PJ Fleck, kind of keeping the media out, but they're going to use him as a wide receiver. I think he's someone they're going to need, breaking in a new quarterback there in Drake Lindsey. He's going to be a lot of fun. And, the comp for him has long been Cooper DeJean. I don't know what the offensive comp is going to be, but again, certainly someone that I think we need to be talking about as we head into 2025.
Drew, you gave me a safety. I'm going to give you a safety right back. Caleb Downs. I've always said this is the best talent in terms of the safety position that Nick Saban has ever recruited and even played at Alabama. But he shows up to Ohio State. Ball skills. The ability to return is a punt returner. This is the one-off player. And I know last year Ryan Day said he was going to try him to put him on offense as the running back. You go back to his high school film, this guy was a dynamic player with the ball in his hands. Getting recruited, some thought that he was going to either play a running back or slot position. But when you're talking about unique, different type of player on the defensive side, you throw him right now on the offensive side, and you might have some buzz for Heisman.
2 top 50 picks, probably more than likely in the next couple days. Travion Henderson, Quinshon Judkins. I mean, if there was a year to do it, it would be the draft eligible year, right, to play him at running back. I like both those picks.
I like it. All right, this next one is inspired by Shedeur Sanders, the fact that he went up from Jackson State to the P4 level and showed out. So who is the next quarterback with the best chance to level up and improve his draft stock?
How about Mark Gronowski, who arrives at Iowa by way of South Dakota State? This is a kid where NFL scouts were traveling to the Mount Rushmore State to watch him practice the past few years. Some reports out there that he had a day 3 grade for this year's draft. Some front offices thought he was going to be at the NFL scouting combine, but he ends up taking his talents to Iowa. And yeah, they have struggled with transfer quarterbacks in recent years, but this dude's a little bit different than the other veteran arms that they brought in. He's started and won an FCS all-time best 49 games. That includes 2 national titles. He's thrown for over 10,000 yards. He's almost rushed for 2,000 yards. So I think this is someone where, you know, he's obviously getting some compensation to be there at Iowa, but he has an opportunity to move up, right? Maybe go from a day 3 grade to a day 2 grade. So certainly I think he fits the bill going from the FCS to the FBS.
Like that picture. I'm going to go with Darian Mensah from Duke, the $8 million man over the next 2 years. So obviously a lot of expectations, but you think about Darian Mensah and this guy's story. I mean, he only had one other offer, and it was Idaho. Goes to Tulane, redshirts a year, and then out of nowhere wins the job, leads them to 9-4 on the season, and then is one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the entire portal, right? You think about his play throughout the start of the season, what he was able to do. You love this guy, the pocket savviness as well, his ability in between the numbers. I love what he can do. Accurate quarterback. He's a playmaker as well. So Darian Mensah going to Duke, I think not only has to justify the compensation, but this was a guy, ironically, kind of reminded me of Michael Pratt, who played at Tulane as well and went late day 3 to the Green Bay Packers. Can this be a guy that continues to kind of work up draft boards? Now he's going to have that level of comp against a Power 4.
Oh, the Duke and Iowa quarterbacks. Really digging deep here. I appreciate it. Ashton Jeanty is a guy who is expected to go in the top 10, definitely first round of tomorrow's draft. That would make him the first running back to go in the first round since 2023, because it did not happen last year, but man, it has happened quite a bit over the last 10 years. So, Andrew, I ask you, who is the next game-changing running back like Ashton Jeanty?
Emily, I knew you were going to bring up the fact that multiple running backs might go in the first round.
I know you love
We've
it.
talked about it at length in recent years. I struggled kind of with this question because I think Ashton Jeanty is one of one, and that's the reason why he might go in the top 5 tomorrow night. And the other thing with this prompt is the transfer portal makes it hard to forecast, all right, who is going to get the lion's share of carries this upcoming season, right? A lot of the top group of 5 running backs have been gobbled up by the Power 4s. And I'm talking about like Ahmad Hardy at ULM, Fluff Bothwell at South Alabama. They're at new homes and they're kind of in some committee. So I searched, and the name I kept coming back to, Raleek Brown at Arizona State, former blue chip recruit. Now think about it. Arizona State won the Big 12 this past season behind the arm of Sam Levitt and the legs of Cam Skattebo. Well, Skattebo is going to be drafted this week and he's gone. The Sun Devils were 20th nationally in rushing offense. They want to run the football under Kenny Dillingham. They brought in some transfers to kind of supplement that running back room. But reading our friends at Devil's Digest, it sounds like Raleek Brown had a ton of explosive runs during spring practices. This is a kid that when he signed with USC, he was drawing some comparisons to Reggie Bush. So is Raleek Brown going to be in New York for the Heisman Trophy presentation? Probably not. But I think this is someone where we're going to look up on Saturday and be like, oh, yeah, Raleek Brown, hey, he's making plays for, what could be a back-to-back Big 12 champ.
Drew, Raleek's not going to be in the Heisman Trophy running category, but I got one for you. Jeremiah Love. Love to love, love. One of the most explosive runners in terms of contact balance, speed, and the ability to make one cut. As you see right here, he just gets right through, and then he outruns every single average angle. The last guy that ran like that, it reminded me, Darren McFadden. Just a one-cut guy can get downhill and change the entire game. But he has patience, balance, strength. He can do it in short yardage. He can do it any way that you give him the ball. Throw it to him. Underhand toss it to him. Put him at Wildcat quarterback. One of the most impressive runs that I've seen was that run when he got down on the 3-yard line. Ran through 2 guys. Kept pushing. He was only on one knee, Coop, and found a way to get into the end zone. So when you're talking about a runner, I want a runner that can do it short yardage, be able to create on his own, and whenever he's in the pass game, pass pro, but when he get balls thrown to him, catch it and score. And when you can score at any point, yeah, Heisman difference maker. I would take Jeremiah Love this year as my number 1 back, and I know you love Ashton Jeanty, but I think they're just different because of size, speed combination for Jeremiah Love.
Ooh. Going beyond just a comparison for Ashton Jeanty, somebody better than him and Jeremiah Love. This was a great discussion. Andrew Ivins, we obviously had to talk about first-round running backs when you were on the show, so we appreciate you joining. And if you enjoyed that conversation at home, be sure to hit that like button and also listen to the 105 podcast with Andrew Ivins and Cooper Patagna. They tell me that typically episodes drop on Monday and Wednesdays, but there will be a very special Thursday episode this week where they look back on some of the top prospects from the 2022 class, and you can listen wherever you get your podcasts.